Hello, Bella. How are you? Oh, are you going to roly pole? Are you going to roly pole? Good girl. Good girl. What are you covered in? Where have you been? You are covered in dirt. I'm going to have to give you a bath. Good morning. Welcome back to a brand new video. As you can tell, the weather is absolutely gorgeous once again here at Miracle Mountain. I'm in the mountains of Portugal, and at this time of year, when the weather's like this, it's the best place to be in the world. It's just unbelievable. Perfect for getting work done. It's probably around 25 degrees Celsius. Absolutely perfect. Can work all day and just enjoy the sun. It's one of my favorite times of year. The colors are changing. The water is looking crystal clear. The light is just gorgeous. And I'm just on my morning routine walk down to the animals to let them out so that they can free range all day. The light at this time of year is just everything. So nice. And I've just arrived at the chickens. It's like a fairy world. You just pull this tree back and there we have it. The chickens are raring to go. Come on then, chickens, off you go for the day. So now the chickens are out, I gotta let the goats out. And a lot of you guys were asking questions in the last video. Why, instead of building a new goat enclosure on my new property, why don't I just take that where they live at the moment, which is a converted horse box that I turned into their house? Well, the answer is getting that down into the area where I'm going to keep the goats is going to be really tricky. I would probably be able to get it down there, but whether I'd ever be able to get it out again is another question. So I think it's probably easier to build something more permanent. Good morning, goaties. They have finally emerged from their enclosure and I bet they're excited to go and explore today, aren't you? The light is gorgeous. It's just such a wonderful day. And look who's come to join us. It's Bella. Hello, Bella. She loves hanging out with the goats and protecting them all day, don't you? You love the goats as much as me? Yeah, you do. You absolutely do. You love feeling like a sheepdog when we go for walks up in the mountain and she's running behind them and then lying down like a sheepdog would and making sure they're nice and safe. She's really come out of her shell. So this is the routine every single morning. I got the goats behind me. They follow me up to the house and then essentially they just eat all of the weeds around the house, but also around the lake as well. It's absolutely perfect because it really makes a difference in keeping things down. Even though it's just two goats, they can get through quite a lot of weeds. And here I am back at the house, ready to jump in the UTV and head down to my new property where I'm going to be living. And I want to clear up a few things about my new property and Miracle Mountain and the fact that they're not physically connected. So they're completely different properties, but I'll explain everything once we get down there. So before I get back to the video, I've got something that I really want to show you that completely blew me away. This book right here, this is the ultimate guide to rebuilding a civilization. It's over 400 pages, packed with the most important human interventions and discoveries. Everything from how to make a fire to building a printing press. The illustrations look like they've been lifted straight out of medieval manuscripts and engineering notebooks, and it feels like you're holding a museum in your hands. But here's the thing that most people don't know. This book is hiding a secret. There's actually a quest buried inside these pages, and some spreads are marked with tiny butterflies. And they're not just a decoration, they're the start of hidden puzzles. If you solve them, they'll lead you to the secret website. It's raised over $3 million on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and honestly, it's easy to see why. It's not just a book, it's the perfect gift for curious minds, history lovers, and anyone who loves to learn. And that's only the beginning. The deeper puzzles are even tougher, and only 7 people in the world have ever solved the whole thing. You finish it all and you join something called the Order of Seekers with real rewards from the creators. So whether you want an incredibly illustrated encyclopedia of human intervention or you're brave enough to take on the hidden quest, this book has something for you. Check out the link in my description. Use my code INDIE10 to get a discount, and a massive thanks to Hungry Minds for sponsoring this video. And now let's get back to work.
There's another place in another town where things went right and we're on the down, floating around the prairie sky, just you and I like the way you are, the way you see, the way you talk to little old me, the way you count from 1 to 3, and how you tie your shoes on. But you deserve the world and more, sunny skies and open doors, breeze of summers and easy winters and flowers in the springtime. But I wish I could give you more, all I have and all I know.
So I have just arrived at the front entrance of Miracle Mountain, so I can try and explain to you guys and get rid of any confusion of the 2 properties. So you've got Miracle Mountain and you've got my new property, and I want to explain how they're next to each other, but they're completely separate deeds and they're completely separate properties and very different from each other. Okay, so I've just done a drawing and hopefully this helps clear up a lot of confusion. So you can see there, it's quite a basic drawing obviously, but you can see the top rectangle is really big. So that's Miracle Mountain, that's 23 hectares, massive. And you can see the house there, about midway, well 3/4 up the property I'd say. And then you can see the front gate, and I put I am here. So that's where I'm standing right now before we do the tour of the new property. And you can see here, new land. So that's my new land, and you can see between the 2 there is a dirt road splitting the 2 properties in half. It's all kicking off here today. Some deer just ran past me about 50 meters away, headed up towards the house, and now I can hear Bella going crazy. She's protecting the property. Obviously she doesn't know that deer are just not a threat to the goats or the chickens or myself, so she's just doing her best, and it's really cute to see how protective she is of me and the animals. It's amazing. It's a really good alarm call actually. But now I'm going to try and explain the situation with Miracle Mountain and the new property. So like I explained, there is a dirt road separating the 2, and who I brought Miracle Mountain off for family, the family they brought it off used to own my new property and Miracle Mountain, so it's like one big property. But there is that dirt road, and they are 2 separate properties, completely separate, completely different deeds. So that is how I can move to my new property but still sell Miracle Mountain. So it's a perfect scenario really in that sense, because I absolutely love this area. So that means I don't need to leave this area, because this area, to be honest, has everything that I could ever dream of in Portugal. It's absolutely brilliantly situated for everything you could ever dream of. So that is really good. And right now I'm walking down so I can show you some of the land of the new property that you've not seen yet. So that's quite exciting for me to show you around. There's lots of work to be done on there. It's very overgrown, but you'll see what I'm working with. And to put it into even more perspective, here's the pond that I built, and in the distance there, that's my new house. So that right there with the stone wall and all the olive trees, that's Miracle Mountain. And then if I pan across the dirt road, this is the entrance to the land of my new property. So you can see it's full of brambles, and I'm gonna have to put a fence and a gate up here and just develop this land a little bit because it's very overgrown, as you can see. But I'm gonna do my best to get right in there and show you guys around. I can already see lots of wild boar activity, which actually makes my life a little bit easier. They flatten areas, so they've created all these little rabbit warrens through this raw land that is obviously part of my new property, and made it easier to walk through. There's still going to be a lot of bushwhacking to be done, but I need to get the tractor in here ASAP so I can open up them trails again. So all of this land here, going all the way down there and across and down, we're going to walk along. It's even got a small woodland area, which is going to be very useful. This is where the bushwhacking begins. I don't think it will be too hard, to be honest. It wasn't that long ago that I was down here before, but yeah, the wild boar definitely opened up a nice trail, and that's perfect because, like I mentioned, I need to be able to see what I'm doing on the tractor so I can come through here and just open up this trail. It's got a ton of potential, this land, and obviously you can see this dead tree right here. This will have to come down, but this is perfect firewood. All of the materials on this property are going to be very, very useful because I've got an open fire in the house, but I'm going to put a log burner in there, and that means I'm going to need firewood. So I've got plenty of firewood on this property to keep me going for years and years, which is very, very good because not a lot of properties have that. So the trail goes off down here to the left, and I understand it's really quite difficult to see, but there's a stream that runs down the side of the property just here. And you can see there's another tree that needs to come down just there. So I'm going to open this up a little bit, and obviously I'll be maintaining all of the trails. But if we just walk through and follow where the animals have been, that will probably lead us into the best possible area. There's lots of ferns on here, as you can see. And it's very pretty. Just over the other side, over there, I'll try and get to there in a little while. But it needs a lot of cleaning up. But there's some nice big established beautiful trees that will create shade, and my plan is to fence this off as well. Goats down here eventually, but that's in the future. There's a lot to do before I can get the goats onto this property because it really does need fencing. I could walk them down here, that's not a problem, and I probably will end up walking them down here and just letting them graze, but 2 goats isn't going to make a dent on this, just walking them here. They need to be situated here at all times. So the trail opens up just here into this nice flat area that could be really interesting to do something with. As you can see, there's lots more big established massive trees. So you got pine and ash and other good trees on here that are very useful for shade, but also for firewood and for building as well. It really opens up over here, and you can see where the wild boar flattened all of these areas. And this is just a trail that runs all the way down because there's a spring on this property, so it's got its own water, which is a massive deal. Obviously right now it's really overgrown, but you need to trust me and believe in the vision of this place, because I've been in Portugal long enough and done enough projects that I can see all through this. Like, this is just, it's just ferns, it's just brambles, it's just weeds. They can be gone. Like, a couple days work on this property will completely transform it. It's just honest hard work, to be honest, and obviously I've got the skills to fell the trees and split the firewood and do all that, which makes a big difference because it means that I can do everything on this raw land myself. Obviously I might get in some help for the manual lifting and stuff like that if I need to drag some big trees out of the forested area, but the majority of it can be done as one person and a tractor. So if I keep following through here and I walk along the stream, we're kind of dipped down onto an area which is really important to the property, and it's very overgrown here. As you can see, I just need to bash these trees out the way, and this is where the water is, and this is why this area is way overgrown than other parts of the property. I've just noticed a big tree that's going to have to come down, but once again, it's brilliant hardwood for the fire. And that's the tree that I'm talking about. It's a beautiful tree, and it's all dried out. That's ready to burn, which is brilliant. It's just dry standing. And then if you look over here to the right hand side, that is where the spring is, just up there. It's just overgrown with ferns, and I need to squeeze through here because the spring actually overflows. And at the end of the summer, and we've not had any rain yet in October, this is flowing really nicely. You can see the water is running from the right hand side up there, so that's where the spring is. It's dug out of the ground. It's a big hole, and I will be improving that and damming it and putting in a system of pipe work so that I've got water down here on tap. It's jobs like that that really excite me, like turning raw land into something amazing, and the possibilities that can be done on here when you've got a little bit of space and water is, oh, it's endless. There could be more ponds on here. There could be some sort of tank to hold as much water as possible and irrigate certain areas to grow fruit trees. I do have quite a few fruit trees on this property already, probably well over 15 to 20 fruit trees, so that's really positive. But yeah, you can always grow other trees as well. It doesn't just have to be fruit trees. Irrigation is very important to get the trees through the first couple of summers. So I've just walked out into the open, and you can see down here is a really big terrace, and that's a very useful space because it's flat. We'll go down there in a minute, but it's flat. You've got the water that runs right past, and there's another terrace further down as well, which is also really similar but a little bit smaller. And then essentially you go left, and that leads you on to the area where in the last video I was talking about putting the goats. So it's pretty perfect. And if I spin the camera around like I just have, you'll be able to see behind me. That's where we're going to walk up now into that wooded area and see what we can find. So this is really quite amazing. Just as I'm walking up, I've noticed how lush the grass is down here. And that just shows the quality of land and how green and vibrant that grass is. At this time of year, to go through all of the summer and have no rain, but the grass to be looking like that, that's actually, it's really, really cool. I can see up here where the wild boar have been running up. They've been making tracks up here, so I can follow one of these tracks and get up onto this raised terrace. So it's definitely not the easiest place to walk around right now, but this terrace that I've just scrambled up that wild boar track onto looks very promising. Like, it's actually a really big space surrounded by really beautiful trees. So check this out, guys. This is a really promising area for some development, actually. It's really, really good. There's plenty of space. There's lots of saplings growing up. There's some burnt trees, you can see there, a small burnt tree, but then what's growing up next to it is really promising. So everything seems to be thriving on this section of the land, which is really good. You got some really nice oak trees growing up here, and let me see if I can scramble through here and show you guys over here. There's more green grass. It's just amazing. There must be plenty of water in the ground in this area because there's just green grass. You can see that's normally what it should look like. And then here, it's just blowing my mind. At this time of year, you just got this a rug of lush green grass. Right, let's keep walking around and see what we can find, but at the moment I can see plenty of oak trees growing up, so in the future, if I leave these to grow, which I will, this could be a really nice oak forest. I am just approaching another smaller terrace that could be about the same size as the other one if I cleared it out. And I know it's really hard to show you what's going on because it is so overgrown, but this terrace is completely green yet again. So I'm actually really excited about this because if I come up onto this opening, you'll see how lush and green it is up here. I cannot believe this at this time of year without any rain. This is absolutely incredible. I'm going to keep walking up a little bit because it looks very damp just there in the distance and it's covered in brambles, so I'm not going to be able to get much further, but I can see down here it's extremely damp and wet on the ground, which means the possibility that there's another spring on this property that I haven't found yet is super exciting. I need to find it, but another day. And if you're wondering why I'm getting so excited about green grass and water, it's because out here in Portugal, it's very important. You need all the water that you can get. It's only going to get hotter and drier, so if you can retain as much water as possible, that's the way to go. So I've just come down onto that big open terrace that I was talking about before, and you can see it's a really nice area. There's this big established tree right in the middle and a new one growing up as well, and there's just plenty of space around here to get the tractor as well. You can actually see in the distance there's my new house. How exciting is that? So this area is beautiful, and to be honest, like 1 hectare, it feels much bigger than it actually is on this property, on the landscape of how the property is laid out. And I'm super excited to get on here and get working because this needs to be maintained. It's at the moment a fire risk, and that's the last thing I need right now. So I will be getting on with this as soon as possible and cutting everything back. So in the winter, when it grows, well, when it rains, everything can grow up really nicely and I can choose exactly what I want here. I've just noticed actually down here on this terrace, this is where all the water from the spring is actually flowing onto. So I don't know if you can see that, but that is flowing right now, and that's really quite deep and muddy from where this water is being retained on this terrace. So I can definitely work with this water and build, essentially maybe this runs into a pond just here, or maybe I cap it off, run it into a pipe and a tank. But I've also noticed there's this beautiful stone wall that's just running all the way along. You probably won't be able to see through the overgrown trees, but it's beautiful. Not only is this really cool to show you guys around, it's really good for me and my brain to just walk around and see what's possible and see how the land's looking at different times of years, because obviously I've not owned this property for very long. So I've never seen it at this time of year, and so far what I'm seeing is extremely positive. I just thought actually this area where all of the water is, where I just showed you, could be a really, really good place to grow food, because you've got all the water and you could just gravity feed it, because obviously the spring's higher. You could irrigate it all and make sure your vegetables and whatever you're growing down here is nicely watered. So yeah, that's something to think about. Although it's only 1 hectare of land, which is, like I said, nearly 2.5 acres, it's a really good size for a small homestead. So you can have the animals on here, you can grow plenty of veggies, and you can be as self-reliant as possible, which I like to do. So I've just worked my way down to this very bottom terrace, which is nicely shaded at this time of day, which is good. And you can see there's lots of bamboo. That stuff's very invasive and it grows really quickly, so I need to make sure I keep on top of this. You can see how thick it is already, but it's good. It's right by the garden as well, so that can be used for growing veggies and running plants and trees up. It's good stuff. It's just, it grows like crazy. And if you look over here, and I'm not sure how this is going to come across on camera because it is pretty wild and it needs all cutting back, but just here there is a trail that runs to the bottom of the field where I want to put the pond and the goats. So in the future this will all be connected. I'll be able to drive along here, walk along here with the goats, lead them up into the forest for more grazing land. But this is also a really good terrace. This is the bottom terrace, and you can see it's actually not as green. There's not as much water down here that there is further up. So yeah, there's lots for me to think about. So I decided to drive around where the field is going to be. I want to give you guys like an idea, so when you're watching the videos you understand where everything is, and eventually I'll draw up a map and show you. I wasn't going to fly the drone over everything today. I still need to obviously like keep my privacy and stuff like that. I've had some problems in the past with people stalking and people being weird. So yeah, I'll keep the drone shots off, but hopefully I can explain the best I can via doing this way. But just here behind me, you'll see there's like a little alleyway, and that's where I described on one of the last clips that you can pass through and then end up in the area where the goats are going to be and the pond I'm going to build. So that corridor is just there, and then if I spin around you'll see I'm at the bottom of this big field where all of the fruit trees are. I've got obviously the secret garden and then my house after that with the swimming pool. So I'm just going to walk up now so you can see it in its entirety, so you can get an understanding of the distance from that area to the top of the house. But these fruit trees are lovely, really, really good shade. The goats are really going to appreciate this area in the summer, that's for sure. And like I mentioned, I think on the last video, there's some fallen fruit here, so that's what will be attracting the deer and the wild boar. It smells really, really potent, and you can see the fruit actually looks lovely. These apples, probably have one of them right now actually. I'll eat that in a minute and I'll continue this in one shot the best I can. So I've just parked the UTV there because walking around is a long, long way. So if I keep walking up, you'll be able to see this is why I don't want to bring the horse box down here. It doesn't really show it on camera, but if I was to bring the horse box down here, it's very steep, it's very narrow, and it would take a lot of work to get it back out. So if I did want to get it back out in the future, that'll be quite a hard thing to do. So if I just go up here, you'll be able to see now, if I squeeze through, there's a little staircase, and now I'm up in the secret garden. So this is the secret garden, and there's plenty more fruit trees, lots of vines. That's where I was picking the grapes from. You got the most wonderful orange trees just here, and you can see how steep it is because I'm currently very out of breath, and it goes all the way around here, and so do the fruit trees. So plenty of fruit, which is good. I'm going to be doing all sorts with that. I'm excited about that. And then obviously in the distance you'll be able to see the house. If I just squeeze through here and then I don't have to walk all the way up, you can see the house in the distance and the swimming pool is just to the right, and then you've got all of the grapes hanging off here. And like I mentioned before, there's a hose pipe just here with water, so I can water all of these wonderful fruit trees. And again, look how green the grass is all year round. This is so green. It's really amazing. And obviously there's still plenty of grapes. I couldn't pick them all, I didn't have time, but the chickens really enjoy them as well. And I've got tons of ideas of what I'm going to do to this property. Obviously I bought this place for an Airbnb project, and it's been a little bit difficult to kind of see it not as that and as my own place. And like I said, I'm going to develop it as my own place, so really high quality finishes, make it really nice, because essentially it's going to be my home. And then eventually when I'm all done and I'm ready, I really want to go traveling, and I want to go in a van and probably end up driving around the world and finish what I once started. So that's very exciting, that really is. And yeah, you'll be able to rent this place when it comes available, once it's all finished, and I'll be off traveling, and I'll probably have someone local who manages the Airbnb and does all the changeovers and stuff like that. So that's also exciting, to have a little bit of income coming in while I'm traveling. And now I'm just walking up alongside this fenced area, which is my fenced garden to the house where the swimming pool is. And that's going to be great, because that means when I move here, Bella's got an amazing place to run around and hang out all day, which is fenced and safe for her. And you can see again, it's so green around the pool. You've got these really lovely cherry trees that the sun is coming through. It's just lovely. And that right there is my house. So yeah, it's exciting times. After picking the apple off the tree, I thought it'd be rude not to try it on camera, so here goes. That's extremely tasty. That, I'm not just saying that, that is very, very good. So that's also a very exciting thing. That's really cool. I can't wait to make all different things and just wander down, pick the fruit off the trees and eat it like I do on Miracle Mountain. Fruit trees are so important to have on a property. It's yeah, it just tastes way better than buying stuff from the store, and it's free.
Like sitting right here, talking to you about the birds and the trees and the morning dew. You make me feel like I'm bulletproof, like I've got it all. I've got nothing but my own 2 feet, my head half empty, hanging by the seams. The sky above and the ground beneath, and a lonesome highway's call. But you deserve the world and more. Sunny skies and open doors, breezy summers, and easy winters and flowers in the springtime. But I wish I could give you more, all I have and all I don't. But I must be leaving, the road is calling, don't leave the light on. You deserve the world and more. Sunny skies and open doors, breezy summers and easy winters and flowers in the springtime. But I wish I could give you more, all I have and all I don't. But I must be leaving, the road is calling, don't leave the light on. I must be leaving, the road is calling, don't leave the light on.
So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed looking around my new property and all of the land and all of the different options. If you guys have got any ideas about the property of what I could do with that raw land, then let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Right now I've got to head to the city and do some boring stuff like get some cat food and some fresh hay for the goats. But thanks once again for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.